I will call this meeting to order. Board Secretary will now do roll call. Should I do?
No. No. Let me call roll
Okay.
first. I was just making sure Director Añorbe was unmuted.
Okay.
Chair Mejia? Vice Chair Añorbe?
Here.
Secretary Treasurer Rawlings? Director Almeida?
Here.
Director Angeles?
Present.
Director Kemp?
Here.
Director Sutton?
Here.
Director Rawlings has been excused. We have a quorum.
And I want to point out for the record, Director Añorbe is participating in today's meeting virtually in accordance with the board procedures. Are there any objections from the members to present Director Añorbe participating remotely? Seeing no objections, we'll allow him to participate remotely. Thank you. Moving on. Now, Elizabeth Brown will present the February 2026 Employee of the Month.
Good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, Ms. Yu, and all others assembled here today. I am Elizabeth Brown, Executive Director and Vice President of Organizational Development and Administration. In support of LBT's strategic priority of fostering employee engagement, it is my pleasure to acknowledge the Employees of the Month for February 2026. The Employees of the Month for February 2026 are Carlos Zacharias, Pedro Pina Castellanos, Maritza Luciano. Bus operator Carlos Zacharias has been with LBT for 4 years, and this is his first Employee of the Month nomination. He is currently assigned to LBT2. Carlos has an exceptional safety record with 0 preventable accidents or safety violations. He consistently reports to work on time and adheres to scheduled arrival and departure times at all bus stops. Carlos has a strong work ethic. He also provides excellent customer service and brings a positive attitude to work each day. Mechanic Pedro Pina Castellanos has been with LBT for 1 year, and this is his first Employee of the Month nomination. He is currently assigned to LBT2. Pedro is dependable and is always eager to lend a helping hand to his team. He's demonstrated leadership in the past few months by taking on extra tasks, as well as being proactive to adapt to changes during the graveyard shift. Pedro's excellent work ethic has contributed to ensuring that buses are on time for morning pullout. Maritza Luciano currently serves as a human resources generalist and has been with LBT for 4 years. This is her second Employee of the Month nomination. Maritza joined LBT as an administrative assistant for the Organizational Development and Administration Department and promoted to her current role in December 2023. In her duties, which often include sensitive employee matters, she handles each case with empathy and professionalism. She's recently played a significant role in helping with the implementation efforts of the upcoming Human Resources digital tool. Maritza also has a positive attitude and consistently prioritizes employee engagement. It is my pleasure to now present these valuable members of the Long Beach Transit team via video.
My name is Carlos Zacarias. I'm a bus operator here at Long Beach Transit, been here for 4 years. My favorite part of working at LBT is being out and about in the neighborhood of Long Beach, which is very, to me, peaceful. How I feel about being Employee of the Month, I feel great. Makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something here at the company, which they recognize, and I'm very pleased to be Employee of the Month.
Hi, my name is Pedro Peña. I'm one of the mechanics over here at Long Beach Transit. I've been here a little bit over about a year. My favorite part about working at Long Beach Transit is I get to drive the buses and I get to work on the buses. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm really grateful to be Employee of the Month over here at Long Beach Transit. It's really good to see that my hard work is being recognized.
My name's Maritza Liviano Losa. I've been here at LBT for 4 years and I'm an HR generalist. My favorite part at LBT is the environment. Everyone I work with, I enjoy collaborating between the different departments and the sites that we have. I want to thank my manager, my team, and my department for this recognition. I was completely surprised that I was nominated for Employee of the Month. It's great that to be recognized at a agency that I work for, make a positive impact in the community I live and serve in.
Thank you to all of the employees of the month for being dedicated to connecting communities, moving people, making everyday life better. Thank you.
Great. Are there any of the employees of the month here currently? If so, can you stand up? Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. Are there any public comment? All right, seeing none, is there any discussion from the board? Yes, Director Khan?
I'm gonna always take a chance to give a shout out to our employees. Just want to thank you for being the face, the voice, and the heart of LBT, and congratulations on your recognition.
Great, thank you, thank you. All right. At this time, I invite members of the public who want to address the board in any matters that don't appear on the agenda item. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We will go now to Kimberly, who will present the agency report.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, and all who are assembled here today. I'm Kimberly Yu, Deputy CEO of Long Beach Transit, and the monthly agency report will highlight some of our accomplishments and ongoing activities centered around our strategic priorities. LBT's strategic priorities are improve safety and service quality, exercise financial accountability, foster employee engagement, enhance customer experience, and promote community and industry focus. Earlier this month, staff from the procurement department attended the California Association of Public Procurement Officials annual conference and supplier expo in San Diego, a statewide professional development forum for public procurement leaders. As the CEO highlighted in his June 2025 report to the board, the procurement department was awarded the Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award as distinguished benchmark recognizing organizational procurement performance, transparency, and leadership. And during this conference, staff were formally recognized for earning this designation. The conference featured targeted educational sessions, peer collaboration, and meaningful engagement with vendors, providing insight into emerging products and cooperative purchasing opportunities. Knowledge gained from the conference is being integrated into our procurement department to strengthen compliance, enhance efficiency, and support best value outcomes for the organization. In the agency's effort to promote community and industry focus, staff has participated in various community events this month. During February, the community relations team participated in a community event connecting with residents at the Link Housing Crescent Apartments. Link Housing provides support for seniors, families, and individuals with special needs who need assistance with housing. The team introduced residents to the LBT routes in their neighborhood and connected them to the agency programs that could help them to go where they need to go, including the reduced fare senior tap card, life program, and Dial A Lift. Building on this outreach, the community relations team will connect with residents at the Link Housing Zephyr Apartments in March for additional presentation and tabling event. LBT also partnered with several community organizations to provide shuttle and transportation services that expanded access to cultural, educational, and recreational opportunities, which included the International City Theater to provide dedicated transportation and help them to attend live theater more accessible to low-income seniors. The LA Galaxy shuttle to kick off our first shuttle service of the 2026 season, offering fans the convenient transit options to match it. The Renaissance High School, we connected with them to provide transportation for students visiting the Museum of Latin American Art as part of an educational enrichment experience. These efforts reflect Long Beach Transit's ongoing commitment to connecting the community to opportunity throughout the. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none, any discussion from the board? Right. Great, thank you so much, Kimberly. Moving on, we will now move on to the consent calendar. All matters including on the consent calendar are considered routine by LBT Board of Directors and will act by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a member of the Board of Directors or the public requests, in which the event matters shall be removed from the consent calendar. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
You can do a roll call vote.
Chair Mejia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Nerve,
Aye.
Secretary Treasurer Rawlings, Director Almeida.
Aye.
Director Angeles,
Aye.
Director Camp,
Aye.
Director Sutton,
Aye.
Director Rawlings has been excused.
Great, the motion carries. The consent calendar is now approved. Now Pretty George will present agenda item 9.
Good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, Deputy CEO Yu, and all assembled. My name is Pretty George, and I serve as the Executive Director and Vice President of Information Technology at Long Beach Transit. Today, I'm requesting your approval to enter into a contract with Enterprise System Solutions for the replacement of perimeter security infrastructure, also known as firewalls, to ensure cybersecurity and technology for our systems. Our current environment relies on legacy Cisco technology that no longer meets the performance and security demands of our modern and increasingly connected transit ecosystem. As our organization continues to expand cloud adoption and integrate more connected transit systems, this existing infrastructure is under increasing strain, leading to potential latency and increased exposure to cyber threats. This modernization initiative focuses on 4 key objectives: improve network performance, strengthen our cybersecurity posture, enable centralized cloud-based management, and leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities for enhanced threat detection. Collectively, these enhancements position Long Beach Transit with a scalable and resilient security foundation that aligns with our broader digital transformation strategy and regulatory compliance needs. LBT's procurement department issued an invitation for bid, IFB, and received 5 responsive bids. Enterprise System Solutions, a certified small business enterprise based in Los Angeles, was the lowest responsive bidder, and the pricing proposed was determined to be fair and reasonable by LBT's procurement department. The proposed contract includes 5 years of full hardware replacement, installation and configuration, continuous monitoring, reporting, and analytics, staff training, and comprehensive support for 5 years. Staff is requesting LBT Board of Directors to authorize the President and CEO to enter into a contract with Enterprise Systems Solutions, Inc. for the replacement and installation of perimeter security infrastructure inclusive of 5 years of service for a cost of $905,932 with a 5% contingency of $45,299 for a total authorization amount not to exceed $951,229. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pretty. Do I hear a motion to approve the recommendation?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Añorve seconds.
So loud.
Sorry.
Okay. Are there any public comments? Right. Any further discussion from the board? Okay. We can call for a vote.
Chair Mejia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Iñárritu,
Aye.
Secretary Treasurer Rawlings, Director Almeida.
Aye.
Director Angeles,
Aye.
Director Kemp.
Aye.
Director Sutton.
Aye.
Director Rawlings has been excused.
Great. The motion carries a recommendation to authorize President and CEO to enter into a contract with Enterprise System Solutions, Inc. for the replacement and installation of perimeter secretary infrastructure, inclusive of 5 years of service at a cost of $905,932 with a 5% contingency of $45,297 for a total authorization amount not to exceed $951,229 is approved. Thank you so much. Now, Lisa Patton will present agenda item 10.
Good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, Deputy CEO Yu, and to everyone assembled here today. My name is Lisa Patton, and I'm the Executive Director and Vice President of Finance and Budget. And I am very excited to be here today to present the mid-year financial report. This afternoon's presentation gives a brief overview of the operating environment, how LBT is performing compared to the budget, a brief update on our capital program, and then some of the key financial pressures that we're managing. Today, I'll start with the operating environment behind the numbers. These metrics include ridership, on-time performance, and operator staffing as key drivers of our budget performance. This chart compares ridership across 3 fiscal years. As you can see from the maroon bar, fiscal year 26 ridership is consistent with both fiscal year 25 and 24. This tells us demand is stable, that we're not seeing a surge that requires adding major additional service, and we're not seeing a drop that would trigger service reductions. From a budget standpoint, stable ridership generally means fare revenue is also tracking close to last year, so our focus is on service quality and cost control. In the first half of this fiscal year, over 10 million rides were provided to LBT customers, which was just above last year. I saw some interest peak on this one, right? So thank you to Emily Peng and our Transit Service Delivery and Planning Group, who created this scatter plot diagram, commonly referred to as a bubble chart for those in finance. So this is an on-time performance chart, and on-time performance is a key measure of service reliability and is a major driver of customer satisfaction. So shown on the bubble chart is LBT's on-time performance by route. And so if you look at the horizontal axis on the bottom, you can see the individual route numbers. And then on the left axis, you can see the corresponding on-time performance for that route. As you can see from the bubbles, most routes fall in the range of the 80 to 90% of on-time performance. LBT's overall average on-time performance is 84%, which is just above last year's 83%. Our transit service delivery and planning team is working to increase it to 85%. The main driver is matching traffic patterns to the schedule assumptions, and then congestion and detours are the big impactors to our on-time performance. The budget impact of high on-time performance is that it reduces overtime and it ensures efficient service. So this bar chart shows our active monthly operator personnel count over time. In light blue, you can see that the number of active operators has increased from 410 to 439. This strengthens LBT's ability to deliver service consistently and reduces overtime pressure. The bottom line is that the operator headcount is a direct driver of service quality and cost control. In terms of service reliability, LBT's service delivery rate has exceeded 99% this fiscal year, which means that over 99% of our buses show up as planned on a daily basis. Now that we've talked about the operating environment, we'll go over the revenues. This horizontal bar chart shows where LBT's actual revenues are coming from by category. The big story here is that we are primarily subsidy funded. In blue, you can see that over 87% of LBT's operating revenue is derived directly from subsidies. Farebox revenue is shown in the goldenrod color and equates to 7.45% of our revenue. Other revenue in maroon, you can see represents 5% of revenue. What this chart tells us is that Long Beach Transit's financial stability is driven by subsidies performance, which is driven by the economy and sales tax revenue. This speedometer shows in graphic form LBT subsidy revenue by category and how they compare to the amount that we budgeted. Each semicircle slice represents a type of subsidy revenue, with the colored section depicting actual receipts and the black line within each slice representing the amount budgeted at mid-year. As you can see in dark blue, county funding is fully on plan at $30.7 million and 100% of budget. Next, the state funding shows our largest variance. The $16.2 million equates to only 84% of the amount that we budgeted. As I previously mentioned in the monthly reports, the state reduced the allocation after LBT adopted its budget. This shortfall is why revenue is running behind budget this fiscal year. Federal revenue is very close to budget at $9.2 million, and local revenue is slightly ahead of budget at $5.1 million. Overall, subsidy revenue is operating at 95% of the amount we budgeted. Our revenue flow to core business categories charts show how LBT's inbound revenue is distributed across our core business categories. This chart visually connects total revenue to the business areas where funds are spent, making it easy to see which functions receive the largest or smallest portions of the budget. On the left, you can see our funding mix and the inbound revenues from farebox, other revenue, and subsidies, altogether totaling $70 million. On the right, you can see how these dollars support Long Beach Transit. The largest share goes to where the buses and the customers are. Transit service delivery, shown in darker blue, represents all the activities that ensure high quality bus service is consistently delivered to our customers. In light blue, you can see transit asset management, which includes ensuring everything to ensure safe buses, reliable, and that they're available for service. The remaining outbound funding supports the backbone that keeps service safe and reliable, and includes internal business functions, information technology, customer experience, and risk management. This chart shows actual expenses compared to budget at the mid-year point. The top bar is LBT's expenses year to date, and the bottom shows the amount that we budgeted. Through the first half of the year, LBT's expenses are running under budget. That's important because revenue is also under budget. What that means is that we're managing spending to match the revenue reality. Looking ahead, we're keeping a close eye on the mounting financial pressures to ensure a balance between expenses and revenues. Just a quick update on our capital program. In fiscal year 26, LBT received 30 40-foot new electric buses. This brings LBT's number of battery electric buses to 84, with a plan for a total of 130. From a finance perspective, LBT is converting grant dollars into long-lived vehicles that show up on the balance sheet as capital assets. These buses are a key step in our transition to a clean fuel fleet. Right now, the focus is on operational readiness, including expanding our charging infrastructure to ensure service reliability. While we're strengthening the balance sheet with long-lived assets, our operating outlook is getting tighter. Let me take a moment just to walk you through three major financial factors that are shaping our outlook going forward. So we touched on subsidy revenue, and that's obviously a foundational part of our budget. Fair revenue alone can't cover the cost of providing service. LBT depends on a combination of subsidies to maintain our service levels, support our staffing, sustain maintenance, and ensure the buses are on the road meeting our community's needs. These subsidies sources also allow us to keep fares affordable while delivering high quality transit service. Second, we're facing projected reductions and growing uncertainty in future grant funding. Economic and political conditions at both the state and federal level are shifting, making long-term grant availability harder to predict. At the same time, the one-time federal stimulus funds that helped stabilize operations during the pandemic have now been fully expended. This means the support we relied on to cushion operating costs is no longer available. And finally, we continue to experience steady cost growth across the organization. Inflation, higher benefit costs, and supply chain pressures all contribute to rising operating expenses. In addition, zero-emission bus infrastructure continues to escalate in price. So as you've seen today, LBT is making progress on the things that matter to customers, including service quality, staffing stability, and delivering the capital program, including the zero-emission bus transition. At the same time, the financial environment is getting tighter. Subsidies and grants are less predictable, and costs are rising faster than inflation. Our approach is straightforward: to protect service quality and reliability while keeping spending aligned with the revenue reality. I do want to give a big shout out to the creators of this presentation, which includes many folks in the audience: Ashley Lang, Kevin Schrader, Carly Wang, Cal Rodriguez, and Emily Pang. So thank you for this opportunity to present our mid-year report.
Amazing. Is there any discussion from the board? Okay, we have Director Angeles, Director Cam. All right, we'll go from there.
First of all, thank you, Lisa, for a great presentation, but more importantly, thank you for listening to the board about bringing up the pizzazz on the presentation. I did like the graphics and the moving bus and the things of that nature, and I know one of the directors had actually asked for a little bit more clarity. So I just wanted to recognize the staff who made that happen graphically, and just as well as you to basically present it in a clear way. My question revolves around, everybody's talking about this fiscal cliff that everyone suffers through. I know in the Bay Area, the governor has already supported the BART situation and all the fiscal. So I'm sure your intent. Tell us a little bit about the impact to us here down in Southern California in the Metro Los Angeles area.
So Long Beach Transit was conservative in planning for the fiscal cliff, so we didn't spend all the money at once. We spread it out over multiple years. And so we're not hitting the fiscal cliff as early as everybody else. But based on what's happening with funding, so if you look at your Prop A subsidy revenue this year, it's running very similar to last year, maybe up 1%. So there's not a lot of growth in subsidies, which is what drives Long Beach Transit. So if sales tax revenues aren't increasing, then that means the subsidies that Long Beach Transit receives isn't increasing. Also, one of the challenges that we're seeing is that we have a negative carryover from FY25. And so what that means is LA Metro does a great job of kind of projecting and estimating what the funding will be for the year. And FY25 was one of the rare years where we actually less money came in and that they projected. And so that money then comes out of FY27. So we're seeing flat subsidies because we're seeing flat sales tax and then a negative carryover. So we expect to get the funding marks very soon from LA Metro. That'll give us an indication of what exactly our funding is looking like last year. But the initial indications are they're not bleak, but they're also not good. And they're not because they're not increasing. So that's where we're at. We look forward to giving you more information when we get the exact data from Metro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm nervous about this microphone, so I'm gonna try to get in the sweet spot. I have a question, but first I wanna echo the praise for the report. I was sitting here as a staffer. In my day job, I'm a staffer. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, this is delicious for my eyes. And for a guy who's a numbers phobe, it's like, man, this is like watching cartoons. And the bus is moving too. Got dots and rainbows. It was fantastic. But as someone who manages a team, I really want to just shout you out as a leader, acknowledging each and every person of your staff who helped make that presentation just absolutely fantastic. So kudos to you and your entire team that you named. Thank you for doing that. I did have one question. As I'm looking at buses roll around town, I'm seeing what feels like a little bit of a blank space more than I'm used to seeing. I'm wondering if we have any mid-year ad revenue information that could be shared, or if that's something that could be brought back later if not available now.
So currently, in terms of the revenue recognition, we're recognizing the minimum annual guarantee. And so with our ad contract, we do get a minimum amount. And then if it exceeds it, we'll get additional revenue. So right now we are receiving the minimum annual guarantee.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Great presentation. Great job, team.
Any additional board comment? All right. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation and everybody who worked on it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Going to Ashley Ling and Mike Gold, who will present agenda item 11.
Right, good afternoon, Chair Mejia, Deputy CEO Yu, and members of the board, and to all those who are assembled here today. My name is Ashley Liang, and I'm the treasurer for Long Beach Transit. And I'm before you today to present LBT's operating and capital budget development process. I will begin with LBT's overview, then present the operating and capital budget process. Then Mike Gold, Executive Director and Vice President of Customer Relations and Communications, will present this year's Public Communication and Outreach Plan. Then I will close with the presentation with the conclusion of LBT's budget process. So public agencies such as Long Beach Transit must develop an annual balanced budget to meet legal obligations and ensure effective financial management. A budget acts as a financial plan that directs how funds are allocated, ensuring they are spent efficiently in compliance with legal and regulatory standards. The budgeting process promotes transparency and accountability by clearly outlining how taxpayer dollars are used, and the budget strengthens public trust and aligns with LBT's commitment to integrity and serving. A well-structured budget supports LBT's strategic priorities. It ensures resources are allocated to initiatives that advance LBT's vision, and the budget also plays a crucial role in financial accountability, ensuring that funds are directed toward mission-critical projects and long-term objectives. Ultimately, a balanced budget reflects LBT's mission of connecting communities and making everyday life better. By responsibly managing taxpayer dollars, LBT builds public trust and ensures sustainable growth, delivering services to the diverse needs of our community. So the operating and capital budget process consists of four main categories. Starting with the top left, going counterclockwise, the process begins with strategic planning, followed by funding, then resource allocation, finally reporting. I will explore each of these categories in the following slides. Throughout the budget process, the foundation to LBT's budget is the budget assumptions, which are parameters that are embedded in budget calculations, and they include such things as service hours, miles, wage increases, retirement plan, health insurance rates, fuel prices, and other key cost drivers. Next, we will explore each category of the budget process, starting with strategic planning. This initial phase focuses on defining the agency's core business objectives for the upcoming year, and while ensuring alignment with its capital focus. It also involves establishing a budget theme that reflects the anticipated fiscal environment. During this process, LBT works to achieve internal stakeholder alignment by developing initiatives and tactics that support the agency's strategic priorities and objectives. One aspect of the internal stakeholder alignment is with the board's finance and budget committee at the beginning of March. This phase begins in January of each year and is completed by the 2nd of March. The next process of funding. So LBT's budget is supported by two primary revenue sources, as just presented by our Executive Director of Finance and Budget. It is operating revenue and subsidy revenue. In collaboration with LA Metro, the regional planning agency for LA County, and through the analysis of economic data such as sales tax receipts, we developed a projection for both operating and subsidy revenue by mid-March. In the resource allocation phase, individual departments developed their budgets based on the previously established assumptions, while incorporating initiatives to support LBT strategic priorities and objectives. For example, departments will consider factors such as labor expenses and fleet maintenance requirements, so that they align with the projected service hours and miles. The proposed departmental budgets then undergo a rigorous review process by the steering committee, which consists of our CEO, our deputy CEO, and our ED for finance and budget. Additionally, any new initiatives for the upcoming year are evaluated by the executive leadership based on available funding. The resource allocation process for individual departments is completed by early April. The final stage of the operating and capital budget is reporting. Throughout the budget season, staff simultaneously work on a budget book, which undergoes a review by ELT before being submitted to the board secretary for publication. So LBT has an official public communication outreach plan, which Mike Gold, our ED of Customer Relations Communication, will outline following my presentation. To conclude the presentation, the reporting process, a board executive committee meeting will be held prior to the board of directors meeting, which is scheduled for May 28th of this year, where staff will present a budget for formal approval. And concurrently with the operating budget, LBT conducts an internal capital call, focusing on key capital projects as departments collaborate to develop a three-year budget process. Capital call submissions are evaluated by the key performance indicator team, who then recommends projects to the executive leadership. Once approved, LBT's capital projects and grants team strategically allocates funds to the project. This concludes my presentation for the operating and capital budget process. I'll now pass it over to Mike Gold.
Good afternoon. And in case you're wondering, we did not coordinate, but it just kind of happened this way that we're matching with our coach today. My name is Mike Gold. I'm the Executive Director and Vice President of Customer Relations and Communication. So good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, Deputy CEO Yu. I'm here to talk about the public communication process for the budget as it's being developed leading up to the May board meeting. For this process, we're going to conduct a three-part approach. So part one is we're going to take a look, we're going to utilize the fall 2025 survey data to take a look at our customer priorities. This is recent data, and it will highlight what our customers have been telling us about their top priorities for service. By the way, I'm going to be presenting the results of the survey and this data at next month's meeting. This data will inform the budget development process. It's going to tell us what our customers want and how, what we can do to encourage people who are our customers and who may be considering riding to ride our service more. So as the budget is being developed in part two, and these priority and what our customers are telling us is helping to shape that, we're going to inform the community through a series of videos that explain how Long Beach Transit receives our money and spends our money. It's important for the community to understand the limits of our budget, the limits of our funding, and how it shapes what we can do in the coming fiscal year. We're going to make this information available in both English and Spanish, as we have done in the past. Third, once the budget is ready to be considered by the board of directors, we'll promote public participation and attendance at the May meeting. We'll highlight those projects that are tied into the budget, kind of tied to their priorities. This is what you told us. This is what we're going to be doing next year, how we plan on enhancing the customer service. And then the community will be able to review the draft budget prior to the May meeting. We'll post it online, make copies available so people can review it after they view the videos to understand how we spend and receive funds. And they can come here and comment and let you know their feedback on the budget. concludes my portion of the presentation, and I'll turn it back to Ashley.
Also, in conclusion, the development of a balanced budget is not only fundamental part of LBT's financial management responsibilities, but also a key driver of the agency's ability to deliver on its vision, mission, and strategic priorities. A carefully planned and executed budget demonstrates that LBT is committed to being a responsible steward of taxpayer dollars, ensuring that we continue to meet the transportation needs of the community while maintaining stability and transparency. This concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any public comment? Seeing none, is there any discussion from the board? Yes.
Thanks for the presentation. It was very informative. Really interested in getting customer comment. And I know that's difficult ever since we moved here, I think we've had maybe 5 people come and talk and share their views on Long Beach. So how can we better collect responses from our customers to make sure that we're providing the services they need?
So in addition to promoting the meeting and promoting it in advance, so as we start to have information out there, which will start in April, so about a month in advance, we'll let them know that the meeting's going to happen. We will also take comments via email, on social media, and via phone call, which is what we did last year. We collected comments, so we were able to collect feedback in a number of different ways.
Is there any board? Yes, Director Amada.
Yeah, kind of following up on that similar question is just more on the video component. Is that also a new thing that we're adding for the outreach? I just don't recall if we did that, but like how our funding works. And
we did do a video last year, and so it's not new. This year we're going to try something a little bit different, but we are going to have videos that explain how we receive and spend our dollars.
Director Angeles?
Is there any coordination with the city, the elected officials, the council members, the mayor, what have you? I know that they have a subcommittee in transportation. Do you like make a presentation to them at all about the budget and the priorities of LBT at all?
I could bring up our manager of government relations if she'd like to talk about how we coordinate with the city departments. That's okay.
Yes, that's fine.
I was just going to say, yes, the idea is to bring the information to the board first and then bring that forward to our elected officials at the local level to ensure that they also spread the word to their constituency. Thank you.
And I think
one of the things I just wanted to mention, I know Mike noted that we have the customer input. We did the survey. We've also have done extensive outreach with our STAR initiative, STAR 2 initiative, the COA. So we could incorporate some of the things that we have also heard from those public meetings, as well as we've conducted surveys on our buses to capture what the priorities are and the needs from our customers as well.
Any additional board comment? Great. Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing all the materials. Thank you. All right. Then Marisol Barajas with agenda item 12.
Thank you and good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, Deputy CEO Kimberly Yu, and everyone who's joining us, who is assembled here today. I'm Marisol Barajas, Manager of Government Relations. I'm here today to present an overview of Long Beach Transit's 2026 legislative program. We have a PowerPoint for you. Perfect. LBT's 2026 legislative program is designed to advance LBT's mission and strategic priorities through 3 primary objectives. Our first objective is to deepen the understanding of government relations and our essential role within the agency.
This includes clarifying how legislative advocacy, regulatory engagement, and strategic partnerships directly support service, delivery, financial stability, and long-term planning. Government relations is not separate from operations. It's a core function that ensures the policy environment enables us to fulfill our mission and strategic priorities. Secondly, the program emphasizes the importance of recognizing and staying ahead of key legislative and regulatory issues. As members of the American Public Transit Association, APTA, at the national level and at the state level with the California Transit Association, CTA, we closely monitor existing laws and emerging legislation at the local, state, and federal levels. And we strengthen our ability to anticipate impacts on operations, funding, fleet transition requirements, and compliance obligations. Proactive awareness allows us to shape policy discussions rather than react to them. Thirdly, the program reinforces our commitment to promoting LBT's funding priorities. This includes protecting existing revenue sources, advocating for sustainable and flexible funding programs, and positioning the agency competitively with new grant opportunities. Together, these objectives provide a focused and coordinated framework for advancing LBT's interest in 2026 and beyond. After outlining the purpose of 2026 legislative program, it's important to provide some context as to how and why Long Beach Transit engages in legislative advocacy. The legislative program is led by government relations, direct support from the president and CEO, strategically coordinates LBT's efforts at local, state, and federal levels to protect funding, shape policy, and advance LBT's mission and strategic priorities. LBT's legislative program operates through continuous internal coordination among key department management and staff. Their expertise ensures that advocacy priorities align with operational realities and LBT needs. The graphic on the right indicates the governance structure of our legislative program. The president and CEO directs the program with policy support and oversight from the board of directors. Government relations coordinates and manages advocacy efforts across all levels of government. Department management, staff, including service planning, delivery, operations, capital programming, finance, and customer service and experience, provide subject matter expertise that shapes LBT's strategic and legislative priorities. This ensures our advocacy agenda is operationally grounded, fiscally responsible, and aligned with LBT's strategic priorities. Collaboration with statewide and national associations such as APTA and CTA is vital as it enhances our influence and ensures that our advocacy efforts are aligned to broader transportation industry goals. This is also done with state and federal professional advocates who are well-versed in prevalent transportation issues and support many transit industry agencies. The president and CEO of LBT is a member of both the APTA Executive Committee and the CTA Executive Committee. Furthermore, I'm a member of CTA State Legislative Committee and serve as chair of Metro's Bus Operations Subcommittee. These positions are crucial for legislative advocacy as they provide direct channels to influence policy decisions and advocate effectively for transportation needs and at various levels of governance. Next is advancing LBT's mission. Building on LBT's advocacy purpose and foundation, I'll discuss some initiatives that advance our mission. Our strategy includes 5 approaches: promoting our community role, protecting LBT's interests, building partnerships, securing funding, and shaping policy. These areas are all interconnected. Stronger partnerships increase funding chances, and early policy shaping reduces financial risk. These efforts support service quality, financial accountability, and enhance the customer experience. Next slide. Promoting LBT's role in the community is a core element of our strategy, as it ensures policymakers are aware of LBT's comprehensive impact. This includes not only its role as a transportation provider, but it also its contributions to innovation and economic development, environmental sustainability, and social mobility. We communicate to our elected and their staff and stakeholders how LBT supports workforce access, reduces emissions, strengthens local business corridors, and connects communities to opportunity. By highlighting sustainability initiatives such as service changes and enhancements and community partnerships, we
reinforce the long-term value of transit investment and build durable political support. Next slide. Protecting LBT's interest as regulatory requirements increase or decrease. It's critical that policies reflect operational realities. We engage constructively on state and federal mandates, including those from the California Air Resources Board, CARB, to ensure timeliness, funding structures, and compliance expectations are achievable. Our goal is to prevent unfunded mandates, reduce operational disruption, and ensure regulatory pathways align with practical implementation. This approach protects both the customer and service delivery and the agency's financial stability. Building strategic partnerships. Collaboration remains central to our legislative success. We work closely with regional partners such as the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, known as Metro, and Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG, to ensure LBT's priorities are integrated into broader regional infrastructure planning. We also coordinate with local jurisdictions and transit associations, CTA and APTA, to align transit service improvements with community needs. Strong partnerships amplify LBT's voice and improve our competitiveness for funding. Next is funding. Securing sustainable funding remains a core priority for 2026 legislative program. We will continue advocating for federal and state transit grants, competitive, including low or no emission bus funding and state transportation infrastructure programs. These resources are essential to modernizing our fleet, advancing zero emission goals, and investing in critical capital improvements. We will also continue to collaborate with regional partners to align and unlock local funding streams that support service expansion and infrastructure projects. In the orange box to the right, you have two lists. The upper list contains submitted grant applications, while the lower list outlines potential upcoming funding opportunities. In the coming months, as you can see, we have congressional direct spending and the House Representative Community Project funding requests, both known as earmarks, as well as formula federal funding 5307 and the competitive state funding Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program, TIRSUP. By proactively securing diverse funding sources, we can ensure the longevity and success of our transit services for years to come. Last initiative, but not least, is shaping policy. LBT advocates for policies that support clean air, zero emission technology, and sustainable mobility. This involves annual advocacy trips to Sacramento and Washington, D.C. in coordination with CTA and APTA. Monitoring and influencing legislation are accomplished through close collaboration with key organizations, as mentioned before, CTA and APTA and SCAG, but involves the following. Monitoring laws related to workforce procurement and service delivery, ensuring that proposed legislative changes align with organizational goals and objectives, and actively participating in discussions and providing feedback to policymakers, keeping stakeholders informed about significant legislative developments. Next are some success stories accomplished by led by government relations efforts, alignment with advancing LBT's mission and strategic priorities. Strategic policy implementation and innovation drive successful transit solutions such as the Hayden AI pilot project for enhanced bus stop enforcement. Through strategic coordination and policy alignment, government relations with the support of key departments help advance the Hayden AI pilot project to strengthen bus stop enforcement. This initiative supports faster, more reliable service by deterring illegal parking and encroachments at transit bus stops. It also positions LBT as an innovator in leveraging technology to improve operations and collect actionable data to inform future corridor investments. Under the Clean Air Regulations representing LBT, GR facilitated collaboration with California Air Resources Board, Catalina Express, and Executive Director Lee Berner to submit compliance extension applications under the Commercial Hovercraft Regulation. The adoption of the cleanest available engines or zero emission technologies illustrates our commitment to environmental stewardship while ensuring service continuity and operational feasibility through our harbor vessel electrification efforts. Congestion management and safety was advanced through a partnership with CSELB, where government relations supported the implementation of CSELB Bus Only Lane Initiative. special shout out to our ACE team, congestion management team. That wouldn't be successful without them. This project improves corridor safety, reduces travel time variability, and enhances reliability for thousands of students and customers. It reflects how policy advocacy, internal coordination, and local partnerships can directly translate into measurable service improvements. Funding opportunities are maximized by aligning legislative strategy with agency priorities, ensuring that LBT remains competitive for discretionary funding and is well positioned to support sustainable long-term growth. In November 2025, Long Beach Transit received $15.1 million from SCAG's Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Grant Program for transit service and enhancements for LA 28 and beyond. This funding supports operations, 3 new battery electric buses, and expanded transit services for the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. The government relations team under my leadership and including GR Officer Carolyn Jones and consultant grant writer Deborah Redmond was instrumental in securing this funding. Collaboration with service planning and capital programs was imperative for the alignment of the proposal with strategic goals for LA 28. Securing this highly competitive grant highlights the impact of government relation efforts in securing significant funding for LBT's future and demonstrates strong internal teamwork. Local legislative priorities. At the local level, our focus remains on protecting and enhancing transportation funding and ensuring transit remains central to regional planning decisions. We support coordinated service planning across jurisdictions and continue increasing awareness of high quality transit corridors. Maintaining stronger relationships with local elected officials ensures alignment between LBT priorities and community mobility goals. At the state level, in partnership with California Transit Association, we continue to advocate for extending for Cap and Invest program beyond 2030 and maintaining transit funding established under Senate Bill 1. We will also continue supporting investments necessary to comply with the innovative clean transit and commercial hovercraft regulations while ensuring those mandates are financially sustainable. Protecting both capital and operations funding remains central in preserving service stability statewide. At the federal level, in partnership with APTA, we advocate for protecting federal transit funding at or above authorized levels. We will support the development of new funding streams for transit operations and capital projects, particularly those supporting zero emission deployment and infrastructure modernization. Additionally, we engage in federal rulemaking to ensure new requirements are practical, implementable for California's transit agencies. Public and private partnerships will remain a key strategy to leverage additional resources. In conclusion, the 2026 legislative program provides clear strategic direction for LBT's engagement at all levels of government. It aligns advocacy with our mission, strategic priorities, strengthens partnerships, protects funding, and positions the agency for long-term success. Through disciplined and proactive engagement, LBT will continue to influence policy, secure resources, and deliver safe, reliable, sustainable transit service. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marisol. Are there any public comment? Right. Any discussion from the board? Oh, yes, Director Almeida.
Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation and the overview of everything. A lot of good success stories there. I was curious on the AI I think pilot program, more or less. Is that scheduled to continue, or is that scheduled to get fully funded, or do we need to find more funding for that to go on?
We definitely need more funding. We are currently actually meeting with the city of Long Beach, where we've had 3 meetings with them to better understand the implications of our partnership with them when it has to do with security and implementation of this ticketing process within the city.
And then the trial routes are still in effect right now, or are those kind of stopped and we just have the data from how they got it?
Correct. We just have the data. It was just a pilot project for 2 months.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Director Kemp?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great report. Congratulations. $15 million is not a small amount. And shout out to you and your entire team for getting that money. Sounds like we need it now more than ever. So way to go. I did have a follow-up question to this. The pilot program, were fees actually collected, or are we just seeing if the system worked?
I wish they were, but it's not necessarily about the revenue for us. We're kind of understanding what the data and what we're hoping to do is change culture, make sure that we're influencing people's decision on not parking in front of a bus stop as opposed to receiving a ticket. So there is going to be a process to ensure that we're communicating and letting individuals in the community know if there is going to be ticketing ahead of time as opposed to just ticketing.
Thank you. Yeah, a wise man once told me pain is the best teacher. Do we get a cut of those tickets? Should they come?
Continued, but yes, so it is a partnership, but there is some oversight from both entities, right? LBT is responsible for their assets, providing that the technology is on our buses, and the city would be implementing the ticketing. So those conversations are yet to be it's discussed and determined in regards to revenue.
All right, we'll follow up offline that one. All right, now for my question. The community funding. I saw a TBD up there, but I also received notice that they are moving up the community funding project deadline to next week, I think. Fund for government relations types. Do we have a list of proposed projects?
We're actually just having those conversations today with our capital program manager internally to ensure, and other managers to ensure that we align with the priorities as an agency to identify what projects we're going to be looking for.
And is there a role, or has there ever been a role for the board of directors to know what those asks are?
Historically, I wouldn't know how to answer that question.
Does anybody? Nobody knows, or we've never been.
In the past, it has not been requested.
Okay. Well, I want to, at some point, whenever is appropriate within the format and direction for guidance from our legal counsel, suggest that we know what those are, so that when we find ourselves in, settings where we can help influence those decisions, we're well informed about what the priorities for funding are for the organizations we are on the board of directors for. That would be good.
If I just might clarify, you're looking to just be aware what submissions are made to the our elected officials at the federal level to ensure that you want to know what projects are being submitted, correct?
Given the deadline, yes. But since you asked, I think that it would be appropriate for this body to have a role in determining what the funding priorities are from a legislative perspective, as that process develops, knowing that every year it happens around March, April, depending on government shutdown and shenanigans. But if we know that, then if we could fold into a process, some delivery date for the board's input, if my colleagues think that's appropriate, I think that would be good to do. And then I had a question. Do we have a list of bills that we've supported, opposed, or sponsored?
Yes.
This year?
We have that through
year.
APTA or CTA, and those can be provided.
Do we have one specific for LBT, or do we just adopt the broader organizations?
We adopt the broader organizations.
And is there a process internally wherein we submit what we believe are priorities that benefit us specifically?
For LBT?
Yes.
Yes. So as it was stated in the report, both Ken and I sit on various committees. So there's, I sit on the state legislative committee, and so there's internal conversation that takes place with the CEO and other key management staff and leaders to ensure that they're aware of what policy or what bill ideas are coming through the year. And then we have taken their information and decide as an agency with the CEO, and then have those conversations with CTA or APTA as a state, all the state transit agencies to align with what those, whether we're going to be supporting the legislation or not.
Got it. And is there ever a time when this body has a chance to see what those priorities are before they're submitted for discussion by you and the CEO?
I think that's definitely a discussion that we can have. What I was going to say that last year we did implement the internal and external legislative summit, which I know Mr. Director Sutton attended. And that was one opportunity to start engaging and inviting the board members to kind of learn more about the work that was being done the year ahead for legislation and within the government relations team.
Got it. Just one more question, Madam Chair. And again, I realize that, you know, there are processes, but I would, again, you know, thank you for your strong work. I know that behind the scenes, a lot of the things that are delivered for institutions are carried by government relations folks who have to know a lot of things and have to be dangerous in all of them. So I don't want these questions to suggest that I don't appreciate that. But I do think that, you know, it would be appropriate for us to talk about how we as the body that, you know, is charged with directing things here at Long Beach Transit might be fully included or more included in the decisions that are made about what our legislative priorities are and what our funding priorities are. Last question. Do you have any assets like leave behinds, information that I'm sure you do, all good government relations folks do, and you're a good one. Can we be provided that at some point, just whatever the leave behinds are, just so we can be smart or on what the arguments are that you're making?
100%.
And say
Yeah.
amen in the right tone?
Yes,
Okay.
happy to provide those.
Thank you.
No, you had something.
Sure. What I was going to mention is I will get back to you, Director Kemp, in regards to the board's engagement on our state and federal advocacy efforts and ways that we are incorporating the policy board and our next steps forward.
And then there's
Thank you. And I echo Director Kemp's suggestions and questions, because I think it's very important for this board to be informed as to what the messages are going to Washington and Sacramento. And then also on bills, I realize that you're working with legislators on fashioning the right words for bills. They may have good intentions, but sometimes we need to direct those intentions. And it would be nice for, well, it would be more than nice for us here at the board to understand what those bills are, what's contained, and what the strategy is going forward on those bills from Long Beach's perspective. And we can be quite helpful in getting those messages heard as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
great. I do have one comment. I think a couple months ago, ATU did bring up a really good bill about bus operators, and I looked it up on Legistar, and we weren't a supporter. So I would also recommend to work with our staff and our operators. If there's a bill that they're passionate about, then we should definitely prioritize that and sign on. So I just want to put that comment there. Anything else?
Yeah, thank you for that, Madam Chair. And I just want to acknowledge that there are thousands of bills to keep up with. And it's, you know, it's no easy task to manage government relations. I'm empathetic. And it's impossible to know everything or report on everything. I'm simply suggesting that, you know, the priorities that we develop be a part of that discussion. But to Madam Chair's point, I would perhaps recommend to my fellow board members that when those items come up that that may come to our awareness, that we find a way to get them on our government relations team or a CEO's radar, whether it be, you know, at this body or whatever processes have been approved, so that, you know, we can help the team see what they might not have seen.
Just to follow up, AB 394, which was the bill by Assemblymember Wilson, So I do want to say that Long Beach Transit did sign on a letter of support with California Transit Association, and we've been proactively meeting with different partners to better understand how we're going to move forward in supporting this bill and what that means, not only externally, but also internally.
That's good to know. Thank you. And then
On this particular item, I did speak to Mr. McDonald prior to this meeting in terms of the board's involvement. And one of the ideas that came about was the legislative conferences that often occur, the involvement and participation level of the board, and how we could strategize and develop talking points and leave behinds to ensure that you're all involved in communicating what the priorities are from our.
Great, thank you. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I want to say thank you, but to be clear, I'm not looking to help guide the language on the leave behinds. I'm looking to help guide the language and the policies we support.
Understood.
Well, thank you so much, Marisol. We really appreciate all the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a team effort. Thank you.
All right. Now we'll go to Kimberly Yu, who will do agenda item 13.
All right, good afternoon, Chair Mejia, members of the board, and all who are assembled here today. My name is Kimberly Yu, Deputy CEO at Long Beach Transit, and I'm here to update the board on our agency's preparation for the FIFA World Cup Games and how our agency is also ensuring seamless planning, aligned decision-making, as well as effective regional service delivery. For today's presentation, I will discuss the following. The latest update from about the World Cup 2026 schedule. Second, our agency's service. And lastly, the ongoing coordination and communication with City of Long Beach, as well as other key stakeholders. So LBT staff, we are continuing to advance our implementation efforts. And while maintaining active coordination and communication with regional partners and stakeholders, we are really focused on our operational alignment. The countdown to the World Cup is well underway. 15 weeks, 106 days, and just 76 working days until June 12th. In December 2025, FIFA released more detailed scheduling information for the LA hosted matches, providing greater clarity for regional transportation planning. As reflected in this table, SoFi Stadium will host 8 matches, 6 of which will occur on weekdays. This will create significant peak period traffic and traffic management implications. The opening match on June 12th at 6 p.m. is also expected to include international dignitaries, which will elevate security protocols, roadway restrictions, and coordinated transit operations. This map displayed outlines the World Cup Games Enhanced Transit System, also known as World Cup GETS. For LBT, the World Cup GETS service will originate from City of Long Beach and provide service to SoFi Stadium. This slide provides a high overview of the distance and typical travel time between downtown Long Beach and SoFi Stadium. The route is approximately 20 miles away with an estimated travel time of 50 minutes under normal traffic conditions. And to validate these assumptions, we had our staff conduct a field assessment to confirm routing, travel time, and operational feasibility. This route was developed with the customer experience as a central focus. And in refining the service plan, staff concentrated on the full end-to-end customer journey, ensuring that customers clearly understand where to board, travel, not only the travel time expectations, service frequency, and what to expect upon travel. This slide summarizes the structure framework used to design this particular route, which was grounded in the practical questions that customers will need to have answered to use the service most confidently and without any uncertainty. Those questions include, where do I park? How do I access the boarding location? Where exactly do I need to go? Where does the bus depart? How long is the trip? How do I access SoFi Stadium upon arrival? Where are the basic amenities such as restrooms? By addressing these questions up front, LBT helps reduce confusion, improve customer confidence, and support a smooth event day experience. All right. Here's a closer look at the service beginning in downtown Long Beach. The designated pickup and drop-off location is on First Street and Long Beach Boulevard, closest to our First Street Transit Gallery. This route will utilize our existing bus stop at First Street and Long Beach for pickup, and we expect up to 12 buses staging along First and Elm Street with recognizing that there will be temporary parking restriction to support safe and efficient operations. We'll also be using 10 articulated 60-foot buses, 5 battery electric buses, which will be 40-foot, and we will have 3 spares as well. LBT staff designed this route with a deliberate focus on the full customer journey, while also prioritizing traffic safety, operational efficiency, and customer convenience. We believe that successful implementation will also require coordination with City of Long Beach across multiple departments. And to that end, LBT has held several meetings with the city and its staff to align on staging, traffic control, parking restrictions, and public safety planning. This slide provides another aerial view of the pickup and drop-off location and the associated bus staging area supporting the service. This slide also outlines a primary outbound route for LBT service departing from City of Long Beach. As mentioned, this route prioritizes direct freeway access to minimize travel time and reduce exposure to local congestion, particularly during peak periods. It will originate from the First Street Transit Gallery. Will go westbound, and the route will follow Long Beach Boulevard, 3rd Street, and Shoreline Drive before entering the I-710 North Freeway, connecting to the I-10 North, and ultimately proceeding to I-105 West towards SoFi. Based on the latest coordination updates, designated bus pickup and drop-off activity at SoFi Stadium is planned at the Intuit East Garage, which is located along Century Boulevard between Doty Avenue and Yukon Avenue. And these aerial shots provide a closer look at the designated pickup and drop-off location near SoFi Stadium. And under the current operating concept, our agency will be allocated 3 buses per pickup and drop-off location. And based on the projected demand, up to 15 buses will be required on each event day to meet service expectations and maintain adequate passenger capacity up to 730 spectators. The walking distance from the Intuit Dome East Garage to SoFi is approximately 0.7 miles, equating about 16 to 20 minutes walking under normal conditions. During our coordination meeting with Metro, our agency has raised concerns regarding safety and clearly defined pedestrian access from the drop-off location to the stadium entrance for all of our customers. And we are continuing to coordinate with Metro to ensure that ADA passengers have accessible transportation options between the parking garage and the SoFi Stadium rather than relying solely on pedestrian access. As to date, our agency has met with City of Long Beach and Metro multiple times to ensure that we are properly planning and coordinating our efforts. The ones that have been crossed out in this the table have been clarified. For instance, we do know that there isn't a city package at this time. However, this may be an opportunity for us to work on for LA 28, which is just 2.5 years away. LBT staff continues to discuss and prepare a path forward on the following items as you see, such as parking for the guest customers, emergency operations center, specifically as it relates to LBT's role, wayfinding signage so that it's consistent and it's provided in numerous languages for City of LA and our customers. Transit network companies like Uber and Lyft, identifying the proper drop-off and pickup locations, locations of all the watch parties, which we believe we know now, but we have to figure out how to reroute our existing service, and sharing the latest information from the city to our customer care agents so that we're providing the same information in multiple languages as well. What are, in addition to how we can better coordinate our messaging and how we could be timing our messaging to align with key points about this particular service. We're also identifying ways that we could work with Long Beach Airport and other key stakeholders so we can inform and update existing and new customers. We do know that timely resolution for these items, and there will be more, is essential to ensure that reliable transit service and constant public messaging are out there. And in terms of LBT's water taxi service, we're planning to operate on the normal routes in and around Long Beach during this time. So today I shared about how our agency is preparing for the 2026 World Cup, from highlighting the service routes, working closely with our key stakeholders to make sure that the travel experience is seamless for local and visiting customers. And as we move forward, our focus will stay on strengthening operations, expanding service where it is needed, and ensuring accessibility across our system. This FIFA planning is a foundation and a precursor for the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Thank you.
Great. Is there any public comment? Right. Board, yes, Director Angeles.
How much does it cost in terms of, getting on the bus, or is there? I know you said there are city packages that you crossed that out, but are there other things in terms of incentives to encourage people to take the bus, and then, just as from a cost perspective?
The fare for the service is $1.75 one way. The $1.75 was actually established by Metro in coordination with the FTA. One way.
Any other? Director Ken?
I don't know how much a candy bar costs now, but that feels about like it's in the sweet spot, $1.75 for a Snickers quarter when I was growing up. That sounds like a great deal. Thank you for the presentation. Again, thanks for the team that made the bus move and the person on the bus. You guys are killing it. Step my presentation. I did have a question about that last mile, that 0.7 miles. It seems to me that folks that would take advantage of a $1.75 rate might have some challenges. I think our rider demographic might have some challenges at Inglewood Stroll. Is there anything we can do? Is there any funding that we have that might allow us to partner with some sort of operator? I know, like around here, Drive, I think is the name of the company. They volunteer their time. Not saying we should with them, but are there smaller shuttle services or scooters? I don't know, something that can help our customers close the distance on that 0.7 mile walk?
Sure. Right now, what we have informed Metro was that 16 to 20-minute walk under normal conditions, I think, would be a challenge, especially if you're in a wheelchair and whatnot. So I do know that there is a continuing conversation with Access to provide that connection. We have, I think what Metro is also trying to do is identifying ways of ensuring that the first or last mile could be a little bit shorter or more convenient. I think the challenge is that There are security parameters that have been identified that we have to be aware of. And it's also a coordination with FIFA, what they're allowing us to do or not to do close to the SoFi Stadium. So I think overall, this has been brought up, and we're going to continue bringing it up until we find a better solution. Because at this time, there hasn't been anything in particular that has been developed so far.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm not sure how my colleagues feel about it. Now, I know that we're, a couple of years away, but that clock is ticking fast, and so it'll be here before we know it. So I appreciate your continued advocacy to ensure that, again, that 0.7 miles for folks who may have challenges that look like our demographic are gotten as close as they can be to the action with all of the limitations that might be in front of them. Because I think we're offering a great service, $1.75. One way is fantastic on the best buses in the world, best transit agency in the world, but then we're dropping them off, in Inglewood and asking them to walk 0.7 miles. And that's really, really tough. And so if there's anything that, we can do as a board to assist in that effort, please let us know. And please report back on what the progress is on that.
Thank you.
Any additional? Yes, Director.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I got to see it a little bit earlier, so there's more detail here, and I love it. Did want to add a couple of notes just to kind of think about for the visitors who come to the downtown hotels. Just maybe that's in this coordination piece with the communication, but just making sure that there's stuff there. So if they're getting a hotel so far away, then they have an easy, cheaper option to get over there too. And then also seems like a great opportunity to capture or really deliver information about our overall services in that kind of 50-minute drive. So thinking about what it looks like in there for us, for our purpose. So.
Absolutely. And one thing that is in the board report is our project management plan. We have created a stakeholder plan that is being led by Marisol, coordinated with Mike Gold. We did have a meeting, and we're continuing to go out there, meeting with Visit Long Beach as an example, and how we can collaborate and amplify some of the services that we are going to be providing. I believe today we also had a meeting with Long Beach Chamber of Commerce, just recognizing that key partnership with businesses are also going to be very important. And so how do we get the information out there? So thank you.
Any additional comment? All righty. Thank you so much, Kimberly. We definitely appreciate it. Now, moving on to public comment.
So, Chair, I would like to acknowledge that we did receive an emailed public comment that was provided to the board and will be reflected in the minutes.
Great, thank you. And every board member got a copy of the public comment. Is there any additional public comment?
Oh, perfect. There we go. So let me restart. So good afternoon, council members. My name is Jordan, and I'm a third-year student at Cal State Long Beach. Yes, go Beach. Bars form a central part of nightlife in any city, and Long Beaches are no exception. Unfortunately, the bus schedule in the city makes partaking in them difficult at times for college students, as the final 121 bus passes through 2nd Street at 11:17 p.m., around 2.5 hours before bars close. Now, you were all college students at one point or another. I'm sure some of you even attended Long Beach State, sounds like it. And you all understand the importance bars play in college life. And I think you all would have felt similar to me if you had to go home at 11 p.m. on a night out. Now, rideshare services do exist, but personally, I don't think cash-strapped college students should need to pay between $15 to $30 solely for transportation, partake in a normal college social life, and contribute to local businesses. Obviously, extending the hours of all buses in the city is unrealistic, especially with the city's fiscal situation. But an extension of 2 or 3 routes, I think, would serve the community just as well. 121 passes through 2nd Street, 91 and 171 connect to 121. A survey I took of a little over 100 CSULB students that live in the city revealed that close to 80% of them lived in an area serviced by 91 and 171. An extension of these routes on certain days of the week, maybe the weekends, would effectively serve the student population and wider community at large in 3 ways. First, safety. More buses on the road means less cars on the road, which means less drunk drivers. Second, economic benefit, both bars and shops, which contain more customers later. And finally, an environmental benefit. This proposal was endorsed by the CSULB and Environmental Science and Policy Club, who strongly advocate for the 2022 Long Beach Climate Action Plan, which said that Long Beach would strive to be a more sustainable and resilient city in the face of climate change impacts. The Transit Council can aid in its mission to cut down on the number of cars on the road by making the buses more accessible at one of the busiest times. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you haven't done so, please make sure that Jen Flores, our secretary, has your contact information in case we want to follow up. But thank you. I was a proud alumni of Cal State Long Beach, and we'll definitely look into that. Okay. All right. At this time, I'd like to move us to closed session to discuss the item set forth, agenda item 15. There are no public comments. The board will adjourn into closed session. Right, seeing none, we adjourn to closed session. All right. The board now reconvenes from closed session. Will the general counsel provide a closed session report for agenda item 15?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The board, council, and staff met in closed session regarding the posted agenda item, and the board voted unanimously to approve a 4.75% salary increase effective July 1st, 2025 for the president and CEO, Kenneth McDonald. That concludes my
I think it's really important for the public to understand that that is a raise that covers 2 years. Okay, thanks.
My agenda is a little bit mixed up, so give me 1 minute. Oh, okay. Perfect.
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yes.
While you get your paperwork together, I'd like to take this opportunity to also, just publicly praise Ken for his strong work, national leadership recognition, and I'm certain that our organization is in good hands.
Anybody else want to say anything? No, I got it. Okay. Awesome. All right, moving on. Board request. Thank you so much. Yes. Any board request? I think Director Kemp, didn't you have one?
I did have a board request, Madam Chair. Thank you for asking. I would like to request a report on the possibility of having a minority, women-owned, and local hire preference program for Long Beach Transit. Similar programs exist at the Port of Long Beach. The city of Long Beach has a version of this, and currently Long Beach City College is in discussion about something like this. But I think the Port of Long Beach has had one in place for decades now. And I think, I would like to have a report back on the possibility of implementing that in Long Beach Transit.
Sorry, on my agenda it does say that we have to vote.
We voted in closed session.
Okay, so I don't have to. Okay. Just want to make sure. Any additional board requests? Yes.
Just that I'd be supportive of a directed council.
Great. Awesome. So we have it down. We'll add it to our list and we'll report back. Now that there's no board request, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Before I make the motion, I just want to wish everybody happy Black History Month here in the Rosa Parks room. This is close to the last day of Black History Month, and didn't want the month to slip away here in the Rosa Parks room and not say happy Black History Month. And with that, I move to adjourn.
There's a second. All right, Director Angeles. All right, we can do a roll call vote.
Chair Mejia.
Aye.
Vice Chair Yorbe.
Aye.
Secretary Treasurer Rawlings. Director Almeida.
Aye.
Director Angeles.
Aye.
Director Kemp.
Aye.
Director Sutton. Director Rawlings has been excused.
Okay. Motion carries. The meeting is now adjourned. The next general meeting will be held March 26, 2026. Thank you, everyone.